Joining us here is a man known to bring chaos everywhere he goes. The first UFC fighter invited to the White House. He is now in the Submission Radio Oval Office. Colby Covington, welcome. Welcome back to the program, man. It's great to have you here.
Boys, it's an honor to be here. Thanks for having me back. It's always a great time on Submission Radio.
Oh, man, we assure you the pleasure is always ours, Colby. So thank you so much for making some time for your friends in Australia. Now, as everybody understands, there's a lot of things to talk to you about. But before we talk MMA, before we talk Tyron Woodley and a whole bunch of other things, we got to remember that one time on our show, you did talk about WrestleMania, and you did make some call-outs, and you did talk about certain WWE runs. So we have to ask you, just while it's fresh and hot, what did you think of WrestleMania 36 this year? There's a lot of mixed reactions out there to the show this year.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't able to see it this year. I was busy in the gym, trying to stay ready, and prepared for if we're going to make sports great again, the UFC great again. But I heard about it, and I heard the energy, and it was different. And, it hasn't been getting good reviews. So there's only one thing they need to do, and that's bring me over there and let me make wrestling real again.
Of course. And I remember last time you put out a challenge to Seth Rollins. I'm just wondering, in case anybody's watching right now from the WWE, what is your message to him, and who is your challenge to next now that the Seth Rollins thing never really came together?
Yeah, I think me and Drew McIntyre is a good matchup. He's a big guy, but, it's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight and the dog, and everybody knows how big the fight is in me. So, I just think that I could beat any man alive right now, and I'm the best in the world. So they need to let me go over there and make wrestling real again.
Well, there you go. We love it. We love that you're going for the big one straight away in Drew McIntyre. Now, as everybody knows, it's been a hectic few weeks in the MMA world. First of all, Tyron Woodley obviously told Ariel Helwani that you passed on fighting him for the 5th time at UFC 249. Obviously, wanted to get your side of the story. Can you clarify what happened?
Oh, Tyron Woodley said something? I can't hear what he says. He has me blocked on social media because I hurt his feelings. So I don't know what he says because, he has me blocked. Does he have you guys blocked on social media? Because if he doesn't yet, he probably will soon when he sees your guys' YouTube ratings, especially after what I'm going to say that pussy right now here in a little bit.
Well, we're not sure exactly where the standing is with Tyron at the moment, but we did see that he mentioned that you passed on fighting him for the 5th time, and it had to do something with money. Can you sort of clarify why didn't the fight happen? You mentioned you were training for it.
Yeah, that's fake news. When Tony and Khabib first fell out, well, actually, when the London main event first fell out, I was willing to fight on 6 days' notice because, that's how much of a bitch Tyron Woodley is. He's a little gossip girl. And he gets his feelings hurt. So you can only imagine what I'm going to do to him in the octagon. But, originally, I'm a main event fighter. I'm not here to play second fiddle. So I'm not a prelim fighter. That's something Tyron Woodley should fight Dilbert on. Maybe he can fight Leon Scott. These are these people that no one knows who they are. But they're trying to match you up. I'm trying to give you a gift from God. You can take a big losing paycheck to me, but I'm not a second fiddle fighter, guys. I don't fight on the prelims. Me and Tyron Woodley are fighting on the main event. When I asked the UFC to fight Tyron Woodley on 6 days' notice, because he's that big of a bitch and I'll expose him in front of the world on 6 days' notice, I want 5 rounds to do it. I want to talk shit in an empty arena to Tyron Woodley in his ear the whole time as I'm exposing him in front of the world. And I want to talk shit, and I want the world to hear it. And I want to save the sports and save the UFC and do this. But I want a main event. I want 5 rounds. So I'm not here to play second fiddle. I asked for a main event. If now I think a good spot to do it is Dana White's Fight Island. They're having the fights in the Fight Island. So, there's some interest there that they're going to build this fight back up. And this is the fight that needs to be made, me and Tyron Woodley on Dana White's Fight Island.
So I just want to clarify there, because I think originally you were talking about UFC London, you wanted that main event, and now as far as UFC 249, so you wanted to be in the main event, right? You wanted 5 rounds to fight Tyron Woodley, and you thought that obviously the Tony Khabib fight was going to be scrapped. You guys wanted to be the new main event, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Before I wanted the London main event. They said they were going to do it in America, maybe do it on an Indian tribe land. So I offered to be the main event on that one. And then Tony and Khabib fell out, and we didn't know if Tony was gonna still fight. He was weighing his options. So I was like, let me fight in the main event. And I'm a bigger fight than Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje anyways. Those guys, let's be honest, those guys are jobbers, man. Those guys aren't on my level. It's a different level when you're coming at King Colby. You know, I draw numbers, and everybody knows I'm a main event fighter. So I offered to be the main event. I didn't offer to be, you know, second fiddle fighting on the prelims. I offered to fucking be the main event, and somehow the Tony and Gaethje fight came together. So now they need to push this fight back. But there's nowhere for Woodley to hide. He can't run from me any longer. He's ducked me for long enough. He's done his elective fucking fake surgeries when I was the #1 contender. He ducked me when I had the interim title. The guy doesn't want to fight me. I mean, if he runs from this ass whooping now, everybody's going to know what the coward he is.
I'm just wondering, Colby, how far did talks get with the UFC? Like, was it you that reached out to them and sort of said, look, I'll be in the main event? And what did they say? Was there anything to do with sort of contracts? Was the fight verbally agreed upon? How far did it go?
Yeah, it got very far. You know, I had my management team over at Ballinger Group, you know, Lloyd and Jeff. They do a great job. And, you know, Ballinger went over there and they talked to him, and we were very close. We thought we had it locked up, and I was excited, man. I want to put on a show for the people, man. There's a global pandemic going on right now, and I want to save sports, you know. And I think the best way to save sports would be to whispering in Tyron Woodley's ear about how big of a bitch he is, how washed up he is, how fucking shitty his fucking rap is, how fucking shitty that beard is. Dude, that fucking beard is a disguise for a tough guy. I want to fucking hit that animal off his fucking face.
It's interesting because Dana's saying this is going to be this fighter island and there's going to be other fights on the West Coast. I mean, you're not going to be fighting in the UFC 249, but timeline-wise, how soon can we see you fight?
Yeah, time-wise line, you can see me fight very soon. I'm ready to fight. I've been training very hard. I'm in great shape, and you know, I stay ready. I've always been that mentality that you stay ready. You know, you don't have to get ready. So, you know, as soon as the next fight gets made, you know, I'm willing to go to Dana White's Fight Island. I think that's the perfect place for this main event on Dana White's Fight Island. Let's do this, man. Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley. I'm gonna destroy him, man. I'm gonna show why he's a gossip girl, why he was on TMZ hiding from me all the time, why he's fucking faking these stupid ass rap albums. Have you guys heard him sing?
I think we've heard one of the songs. Beat your ass, right? That was one of them.
Beat your ass. Shit, I don't know, man. But he's just making himself look stupid, man. It's just embarrassing. Tyrone, come on, man. We know you're broke and you put all your money in that rap career. Yeah, it don't matter. I know you need a paycheck. You need to come take this losing paycheck to me. Don't run away. Don't go sign with some guy named Dilbert or some guy named Leon Scott. You need to come get that ass whooped.
I'm just wondering, Colby, what is it that you like about the Dana White's private island? Because everybody kind of, everyone, this is like a James Bond villain kind of thing when you hear that he's got a private island. So what is it that sort of appeals to you about this whole idea?
You know, I think the most appealing thing to me that, you know, about it is, you know, I can just eliminate Tyron Woodley from Earth. We can take him out to this private island, and I leave him unconscious in his dead body, and then they can just throw his dead body to the sharks next to the private island, and we just never hear from him again. The guy's a complete man. He hates America. He's a fucking communist prick. You know, this is the easiest sell ever, man. This is personal between me and Tyron Woodley, and they need to let me get my hands on him locked in that octagon. It's not, I promise you, it's going to be fucking vicious. No. But first, I don't want to interrupt you. I love you guys. But that's what this is about. This shouldn't be on pay-per-view. Like, this is a time for the people. The people are in need. They need sports. They need to be saved. This needs to be free TV, ESPN, prime time. This needs to be on every single home in the entire world. When I embarrass Tyron Woodley and I whisper in his ear how big of a bitch he is and how much of a pussy he is as I make him quit, and I remove his conscience, and then they feed him to the sharks in the private island. This needs to be on free TV. This doesn't need to be pay-per-view. The people need this. I'm the people's champion. I'm Donald Trump's favorite fighter, and it's time to fight on Dana White's private island.
To buy a pay-per-view, a lot of people can't go to a bar to watch the fights. So there's a lot of questions about how many people actually see this Tony Justin fight. Do you think the UFC is sort of making a mistake by not making it more available to the people, like what you want to do with your fight with Tyron Woodley?
Yeah, I think it's smarter to put it on regular TV because it's going to be in more homes right now, and more people have access to see it. You know, I think on pay-per-view, you know, that's tricky, and it's not going to be as many buys and as many eyes on it. But, you know, then again, people have nothing else to do. They're betting on the weather. So give them something to bet on, and maybe they'll you know, their lives will be a little bit more entertained.
Yeah, exactly. Well, while we're talking about Tyron, it doesn't look like he still wants to fight you. It looks like he wants to move on to other matchups. He was actually talking about fighting Kamaru Usman instead of you next, and sort of putting his name in the hat, speaking to the UFC and Dana White about wanting that fight. What do you think of him trying to get a matchup with a champ now?
Of course, Tyron Woodley don't want to fight me. He's never wanted to fight me since I was the #1 contender. Did you guys forget that I forced him into elective surgery? I scared the guy off into hiding. That's why they had to make my real world title that I had to go win, because he was scared. Elective surgery. He was willing to fight a lightweight, some soy boy from Stockton at the time, some little kid, but he wasn't willing to defend it versus the most logical #1 contender. I mean, the guy's a fucking fraud, dude. Tyron Woodley's a fucking joke, man. I mean, look at what he's done on TMZ. Look at his little rap album, his wannabe fucking acting career that he wishes he had. I mean, the guy's a fucking joke. That's why they call him Ty Quill, you know, and he's not getting no rematch with Marty Fake Newsman. That fight was not even competitive. He lost every second of it. He's washed up. He's fucking shit. Now, I'm not talking about just as a fighter. I'm talking about as a person. I mean, the guy's ugly. I mean, the guy's fucking just completely pathetic, dude. Like, the guy needs to retire already. He's washed the fuck up.
So let me ask you this, man, because speaking of Usman, it was also rumored that he was going to fight Jorge Masvidal on UFC 249. Both guys went back and forth, and they both claimed they accepted the fight, but that fight didn't actually get locked in. What did you think about the fight that actually happened in UFC 249? Did you think it would actually come together?
You know, I think I called it. I called what was going to happen from the beginning. They're just going to keep overpricing themselves out of the fight. You know, it's not that exciting of a fight. I mean, you got one hype man versus one guy that got completely lucky and gifted in his last fight. You know, if it wasn't for cheating and fixing in sports, then the guy wouldn't even have the world title. So, you know, what I think of it is I'm not surprised. You know, it's you know, these guys, they think they're worth more than they are. No one gives a shit about either one of them. And one guy's got lightning in a bottle, and the other is fucking holding on for everything he can just so he can get every little penny out of it. He can show up at his little fighter retreats. Oh, give me my champion pay. He'll show up at every fucking fight like he's famous or something. No one gives a shit about Marty Fake Newsman. And journeyman George Masvidal is going to get exposed very soon.
I'm just wondering, Colby, like, as far as, you know, other potential opponents, I know at the moment it seems like you want Woodley. Ideally, you'd want the Usman rematch. But I know that Stephen Thompson spoke to James Lynch recently, and he seems keen on fighting you next. What do you think about Thompson sort of throwing his hat in there and being interested in a fight against you?
Who is she?
Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, former title challenger. Not on your radar.
Never heard of her. You know, there's a select list of people that are at the top of the mountain with me that I care about. I'm trying to fight, you know, I'm trying to defend my title. I'm trying to fight title level fights, you know, anything less, I'm not wasting my time for. So if the UFC wants to come make this long time fucking personal grudge match between me and Tyron Woodley, it needs to happen, man. Like, this is gone on long enough. He's ducked me for long enough. He's trying to fake the narrative and look like he's trying to save face and make it look like he's the good guy. Like, oh, Colby's ducking. Dude, I fucking was pretty much agreed in that terms with the UFC. This is a main event fight. Let's make it happen. Dana White's Fight Island, Tyron Woodley. And if you don't want to show up, Marty Fake Newsman, let's do it. All you guys are coming out talking like you want to save the UFC. You know, you want to fight. Let's do it. What are we waiting for? I'm here to save the people. I'm here to save America. I'm here to make America great again, just like our great president, Donald Trump. Let's do this. Dana White's Fight Island for the people, live on ESPN.
Love it. Now, just quickly, while we're talking about these fights, the coronavirus is obviously a big topic right now in sports. I'm just wondering, how worried are you when you accept a fight on Fighter Island, Dana White's Fighter Island? How worried are you in sort of not catching COVID-19 and not having to deal with it? And what kind of precautions have the UFC told your managers about in terms of if you were to fight Tyron Woodley, how they were going to be able to test and navigate their way around you being safe and being able to fight healthy?
Yeah, you know, they got a good plan in place, you know, take a private jet, which will be super clean and sanitary. And besides that, you know, just be smart and aware, you know. I mean, we know this virus is going around, so, you know, don't be putting your hands in your mouth. Don't put your hands in your nose. Don't put your hands in your eyes. wash your hands, don't touch surfaces without washing your hands, and just being aware and being smart, I don't think it'll be a problem, especially for someone like me. I'm a young, in shape, professional athlete who's world class and the king of my division. There's a certain level of cardio and immunity that goes with that. So I know my immune system is very strong, and even if I did catch it, like it wouldn't bother me too much. I've had way worse stuff before, like viruses and food poisonings that held me down a lot worse than the corona. So, just like our will in America, you can't break it. And this corona is not going to break our will. We're fighters, and we're going to come back, and we're going to make America greater than it ever was.
But when we talk about your training, you talk about how the multiple women that frequent your bedroom are a big part of the way that Colby Covington stays in shape. I mean, with this coronavirus, unless there's a Colby Covington island or hotel that can encapsulate all these women, I guess there's a big part of training gone for you. How do you manage that? And how do you actually manage your proper training as well in these times?
Yeah, we all know there's a global pandemic going on, and we're all quarantined. We have to stay in our houses, and, we have to improvise. We have to find ways to do things. We have to find ways to train. We have to find self-workouts. We have to keep busy, extracurricular stuff in the bedroom that really helps with the cardio. But, there's a reason why they call me the cardio king. And I find ways to get better and to improve and to put in the work every single day. If it's just shadow boxing in my house and visualizing and cutting angles and working on my footwork, then that's what I'll do. I'll improve as a fighter, get better 1% in one little area that I wasn't before. And I do a lot of outside runs, because a lot of the gyms are closed. So, I go out and run and do sprints and push-ups and sit-ups. And, you got to fight your way through this. You can't stop working just because there's something going on like this. You got to keep working. You got to keep believing, and better times are ahead. And that's why I'm here. I want to come save the sports world. And, I want to be the light in the darkness right now. It's a tough time, but, I want to be here for the people, and I want to put on a good, exciting show for the people and entertain the people at home.
And just in all honesty, like real talk, like I think that's sometimes something that people kind of forget about you, Colby, is that you've got this obsession with improving, and what you just said there about, doing things in shadow boxing and everything. I feel like that's your mentality, coronavirus or regardless, where you're always trying to improve and do something to sort of, further your career and get better. But I wonder sort of, when we're talking about training, obviously one of the biggest things last time when you were on the program, you made a public apology to Dustin Poirier, which caught a lot of people off guard. I'm just wondering, I know you put up the sort of picture of you and Dustin on social media. I don't know whether that was a recent one or an old one, like a flashback. Have you seen Dustin since, and have you guys had that chat that you sort of wanted to have with him and sit down and talk man to man?
Yeah, everything's cool over there. I got no hard feelings. Those guys are good people. I got nothing else bad to say about them. I know they wouldn't say anything bad about me. I know they only say nice things about me. So, I'm just worried about my business and focused on what's ahead of me. Man, this is my time, and I'm not worried about anybody else in my way. I'm here to get what's mine and what I deserve, and anybody in my way, it's just besides my teammates, I got to take care of.
Because we know Dan Lambert issued the no trash talk rule at ATT, but we saw that, Jorge Masvidal responded by saying not the nicest things about you on Twitter, saying stuff like you're the most fragile and sensitive guy in the UFC, and that you're not a part of the rule because he said you're not a fighter. What was your reaction to Jorge sort of breaking the rules straight away, and what does that mean to you in terms of the trash talk between you two?
Yeah, my reaction is I was shocked. He completely went against Dan Lambert's word. Lambert put out that headline that made it said no talking between teammates unless you're scheduled to fight, and George completely just questioned his authority. So as Dan Lambert, I can't even imagine how he feels towards George, that he just completely tried to question him as a man and question his authority and just completely try and pretty much backtalk him. It's just, that's pretty embarrassing, man. I feel bad for George that he did that to Dan Lambert. I can't imagine I don't even know. I can't even imagine the talks that were going on behind closed doors between that and my relationship between me and journeyman Street Judas Jorge Masvidal is that he could potentially be competition. we'll have to see if he makes it that far. To be honest, I've said what I've said. You know, he's lightning in a bottle. He's all hype. He doesn't want to fight me, man. We used to train together for 8 years, man. We were best friends. We lived in an apartment together. There's me and Jorge Masvidal used to fight for free. Go look on YouTube. There's literally fights where we fought in our living room. We fought for 2 hours straight, and I made him quit. And pretty much like every other training session that I made him quit. So Journeyman Street Judas Masvidal does not want to fight me, and that's just facts.
But I guess because he's come out there and said what he said, does this mean the rule still applies between you guys as far as, like, you know, trash talk and stuff like that? Or does this mean that you're still going to stick by that rule because of Dan Lambert?
Yeah, I'm still going to stick by that rule, man. I'm a man of my word, and, you know, I got nothing to say about it anymore. I'm just focused on Tyron Woodley and Marty Fake Newsman and any other business opposition that I have to get involved in. And, you know, this is the fight business. This isn't the feelings business, and this isn't the friends business. So I'm here to make money. I'm not here to make friends.
Well, speaking of the gym, Din Thomas as well has left as a coach, and we just wanted to get your reaction as well. What did you think that he'd be leaving when he saw he'd be leaving American Top Team after being there so long?
Who?
Dean Thomas, former UFC fighter. I'm just wondering if you trained much with him when he was at ATT and what you thought of him leaving the gym.
Former UFC fighter, Dean Thomas. What was his name? What'd you say?
Dean Thomas.
Funny guy, does stand-up comedy. He does a show with Dana White sometimes, looking for a fight.
Looking for a fight?
Seems like
you guys lost me.
He left quite an impression on you. Also, in other MMA news, Colby, and we do appreciate the time, and we will let you go in just a moment. A man that you know very well, a man that you knew during your college days, Jon Jones, dealt with some more controversy the other week. Just want to get your thoughts on when you saw some more headlines with the champ in the news and your reaction to, I suppose, the punishment and what happened.
Yeah, you know, my best buddy, my college roommate, Mr. Jon Jones, you know, keeping the world perfectly normal. Go through this pandemic. I mean, it's strange times, guys. We all know that. We'll never see anything like this in our lifetime. But everything is still normal in the world. John's still getting caught by the police. He's still getting charges for being the dirtbag that he is. He's still catching, you know, drug charges. He's a cheater. He's a fraud. And you know, it's only a matter of time until that guy's getting locked away for good. I mean, what is that, like his 6th DUI? Do you guys know?
I believe this is his 2nd one.
His 2nd? I mean, he had the one where he wrapped the Bentley around the pole with 2 hookers in the back. And then he had the one where he hit the girl, the pregnant lady at the stop sign or the stoplight and fled the scene with all his cocaine and steroids and alcohol. And then, you know what's crazy about this story? Did you guys see the alcohol that Jon Jones was drinking before he got this latest DUI?
We didn't see it.
Oh my gosh. You guys got to look this up. You guys, man, this is juicy.
Lay it on us, Colby. What was it?
It was Journeyman Jorge Masvidal's liquor in the backseat of Jon Jones. So that's how good of a friend. That's how good of a friend Jorge Masvidal is. He gave an alcoholic Jon Jones alcohol. And look what happened. He got another DUI. And he's going to jail.
Well, I'll tell you what, it is good that you pointed that out. It's maybe something that people haven't checked out, but always appreciate getting your thoughts on what's happening in the world of MMA. Colby, as we wrap up, 2 predictions from you. First of all, unfortunately, people are disappointed you're not in the main event at UFC 249, but just quickly, it is an interesting fight, Gaethje and Ferguson. What's your pick for that fight? Who do you think is going to win that one? That one's for the interim title, by the way.
You know, I don't know. I won't even be paying attention. I got better things to do. I thought I was going to be the main event, but, you know, I guess he wanted to take that fight. Originally, he was in limbo. We didn't know if he was going to fight, so I wanted to main event it. So, you know, let it go on. Let the gatekeepers of the little boys division and the lightweight division do their thing. You know, I won't be paying attention. I'm ready to make UFC great again and save the sports world. Put this on live television on ESPN. Let's do this. Tyron Woodley versus Colby Covington. No more running, Tyron. No more fake injuries, fake narratives. No more making excuses. No more elective surgery. Me and you now, bitch.
Well, because I was going to say that is the other prediction. If you had to pick the date and opponent, when and who are we going to see Colby Covington fight next? And when, most importantly, when that return would be, if you had to guess right now, how long away are we from seeing the return of chaos back to the MMA world?
It's a very short wait. I can promise you that. I'm coming back as the people's champion, America's champion, Donald Trump's favorite fighter, and I'm here to save the sports world. I'm here to save the people that are stuck in their house during this quarantine, during this pandemic. Stay safe out there, people. I'm coming back very, very soon.
There you go, guys.
Entertain your all your lives.
Don't forget to follow the man on Twitter and Instagram at Colby Cov MMA. Don't forget to grab yourself a Colby t-shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees. The People's Champ, America's Champ, Donald Trump t-shirt designs all available right now. Always appreciate your time, Colby. Thank you so much for jumping on. And let's get this fight made. You versus Tyron Woodley.
Let's get it made, boys. Thanks for letting me make Submission Radio great again. Take care. Keep America and Australia great, boys.
Thanks, Colby.